Microphone. Let's go to the microphone of the computer. It's not going to be the best quality, but yes, okay. I think we're good now. And you can see Jimmy walking across the garden there. Okay, I think we're good. Please give me a thumbs up or some action on the screen if you can hear me now. Oh, there we go. Good. Thanks, better. Oh my goodness. So apologies for the poor lighting. Best laid plans of mice and men. I'd hoped to have set up a studio late last night to be with you in glorious green drop. What's it called? Green screen Technicolor this morning, but no, we're kind of in a semi outside broadcast here in beautiful, well, on the outskirts of Caldas Rainha in Portugal, near the Silver Coast. What is it? About an hour north of Lisbon. Getting towards central Portugal really, but claimed by the Silver Coast here. So thank you very much for all your lovely greetings this morning. Only if you've moved recently will you know how much pain I'm in this morning. I'm not complaining. I'm delighted to be here. But boy, did it take it out of me yesterday. I was helped by the wonderful Terry Cartledge, based in Tomar, who's moved us a couple of times now. And he was incredible yesterday. Terry with his van and his trailer. And I didn't think we'd need the trailer. Thank goodness we ordered the trailer, because you know how it is. Things just keep coming out from the eaves of the attic or under the bed. Or should we? I didn't realize we were taking that. Surely we're not taking that. It's a family heirloom, really. Oh, okay. And my goodness, so many things. And we got into the house at about 10:30 last night. So no studio setup. But I hope this will suffice. Probably won't be on that long this morning, but lovely to be here. We've got so many Taurian birthdays to celebrate as well, which we'll go through. And I'd be grateful if you could send me lots of messages, because maybe someone could come on the screen and join me. Good morning, kids. Hello. I hadn't quite figured on that either. The kids are in they don't know it's a studio, you see, because it just looks like a room with loads of boxes in it. Hope your patience and your back are still working well enough after the move. Thank you, Mark in Australia. Mike Campion, cheers, Mark. I hope you're feeling well as well. Bon dia alegria, congrats on the move. I bet that was fun. I don't know what it is. There are certain human experiences, aren't there, that as soon as you've done them, you begin to forget how difficult and how arduous it was. I obviously won't make the comparison between that and childbirth, because I've been in a lot of trouble for saying things like that before. But yeah, human experiences where you just forget. And you blithely say, yes, let's move, yay. And then the night of the move, this morning, I had to, as I sat on the bed and eased myself from a sitting to standing position, I felt like my father. Jimmy's been running around in the backdrop of the studio backdrop here. Okay, a cup of tea. Yes, that'd be lovely. Thank you. Bon dia alegria. Congrats on the move. Bet that was fun. Yes, Mike. So it was fun, and it's great to be here. But my goodness, halfway through, you're thinking, how am I ever going to manage this? But we did it. And thanks in great part to Terry Cartledge. I do recommend him if you're moving stuff. He's an expert in moving people to and from England as well, United Kingdom, all over Europe. I think he goes, but he's an amazing fellow. Very good value, very good chap. I think he's going to join me from time to time when he's parked up in Bilbao or Santander or Caen or somewhere like that. He's going to give me a ring and let us know how the conditions are across Europe, which will be great. I'm moving at the end of this month. So who did you use? Leslie, Terry Cartledge, he's your man. Joel's here. Bon dia to you, Joel. Joel was on fine form in the man cave last night. Not last night, Friday. There's going to be a lot of mistakes this morning. I'm knackered, basically. Not to put too fine a point on it. I think I'm sat on a wet chair as well. Ew. Joel, we did a Men and Motors man cave, and it was great. Thanks so much, Douglas Hughes, for doing a wonderful presentation, which really sparked the interest of Joel. Joel knows so much about cars. He's probably your man if you need a little bit of help on buying a second-hand Portuguese motor. And you know this thing, reticular activation, you don't know about something, you learn about it, and then you see it. And last night, driving from Anadia to Fanadia, and I saw one of those UMM Jeeps last night on the way. I'd never noticed it before, but we talked about the Portuguese Jeep that is the UMM vehicle. That has been a Pope mobile. Did you know that Portugal made an amazing Jeep that's little known? But I saw it for the first time because you brought it to my attention on Friday. And look, parabéns. It is your birthday, isn't it, today, Peggy? Facebook reliably tells me it's your birthday today. Let's do the birthday. So happy birthday to you, 10th of May. Prosecco, Peggy. Parabéns. Parabéns a você. So have a beautiful day. Not far from you, Peggy, is Tiago Zeferino, who we've had on the show. Thanks to Frank. Excuse me, and a wonderful. Frank's been down there to eat at Tiago's wonderful restaurant in Bourgogne. Recommend it. Now you can go to Bourgogne, go to Tiago's restaurant. It's his birthday today, and he's raising money for charity. Is there no end to this man's heart? Tiago Zeferino, Claire Monson, our friend Claire Monson, it's her birthday today. So many Taurians. Clive Gardner, good morning to you. Not on the air yesterday, but a belated birthday best to Sean Maguire, who some of you will know, and Cairo, the amazing Egyptian restaurant in Caldas, of all places. Mario Marrakesh, people know Mario Marrakesh, don't they, on social media? His birthday yesterday as well. And a couple of days ago, didn't get a chance to do this, but Andrew Warren Love, your birthday as well over there in North Carolina as well. So happy birthday to you. Oh, Adam Freeman, a few days back. Adam Freeman joined us on the show, lives in Porto. Very interesting fella. The Hungry Couple. Adam Freeman of the Hungry Couple. Okay, so back to your greetings. Have a great day, Peggy. Carlos Costa, bon dia from Carlos Costa. Lee McGrady, we'll see you tonight for the Happy Homesteaders, Lee, I hope. And I hope to be in better shape by then. I feel like a bit like you probably feel after you've been digging, turning over your allotment all day. Really, my back, my lower back. Oh no. Humming, no sound. So it was just humming, was there? I'll see what I can do about that later. Wonder what that was about. Anyway, not to worry now. Paul Richards, your birthday soon, isn't it, Paul? Greetings from Harrogate. It's sunny today in Harrogate. Carl, you are muted, says Peggy. I think you can hear me now coming through the computer, the laptop sound, as with all my kids as well, are getting their various bits from various boxes here. And where else are we? Thanks for all those messages telling me no sound. I've gone deaf, says Paul. There we go. Good now. Okay now. Good on you. All you executive producers out there. Fantastic. And lots of lovely comments. Really, really glad of these this morning, I tell you, to make it a bit easier. TP Larson says, Bon dia alegria from California. Good morning to you, TP. And Ernest and Rizal are in the house this morning, enjoying Porto. Beautiful photographs. From Porto coming from you two. It looks like you're having a lovely time there. And Jacqueline is here as well. Jacqueline Candice Dumont. And success with the sound, says Rizal. Fantastic. Okay, here we go. And the buzz is also gone. Yes, that sounds very 90s. I know that space you're in, says, of course you do, Ernest. A beautiful background, says Rizal. So, yeah, I'm not much lighting on me this morning, but that might be quite a good thing, actually. Yay, welcome to the Silver Coast from Jacqueline. Thank you so much. Official welcome there. Bon dia from Pavor de Vagim. Glad the sound is back. Bon dia, alegria. You've moved. Huzzah! And Gemini Bradshaw, good morning, everyone. How lovely, everybody, that you should be here this morning, on this Monday morning. Fantastic. Well done, everyone. You're amazing. Carl, looking very cool and collected. Good morning, Jacqueline. The pain will soon pass. Yeah. I think the euphoria is kicking in now. Hola, Carl. Well done on the move. Didn't really expect you to be up and running this morning. So fantastic effort. Background looks lovely and great to hear the kids. So that's good to know. It's the world of homeworking, isn't it? Everyone's got used to kids being in Zoom calls now, I think, and pets, cats especially. Why do cats have to do that tea towel holder thing? It's wonderful to hear the birds in the background. Fantastic. I'm glad you can hear them. Frank! Bon dia to everyone. Glad your move went well, bro. That's one sexy background. Thanks, Frank. Bon dia. Lovely backdrop. So maybe I should have this instead of the green screen. Good choice this morning. Bon dia. Looks beautiful there. Could you give us the contact details of your man and Vanya? Terry Cartledge. Look him up on Facebook. Actually, let me just put that in the comments now. He's a very moving man to be with. Moving man. I will put that in the comments for you now. He's going to get a nice little surge of work, and quite rightly too. He's also a mechanic, actually. If you need an English-speaking mechanic, because it can get a bit difficult, can't it? Trying to explain the technicalities of car trouble. I mean, how in Portuguese would you say? Yeah, when I'm driving and I put the brakes on, I get a kind of, you know, something like that. How you have to explain to a doctor or a dentist or a mechanic. So it's a little bit easier. If you can talk to somebody in English, and that would be Terry Cartledge if you are in central Portugal. Okay, he's a mover, an engineer. He can do really manly stuff like welding, and he knows how to fix a car, not with his tights or his stockings, you know, with a real fan belt and all of that sort of stuff. So there you go, Terry Cartledge. He's the man, and he will be calling in from his various places whilst he's driving across Europe. So looking forward to that. Van Man Terry. Okay, John Rooney is here as well. Good morning. Congrats on the move. Hope you get the studio sorted soon. I'm sure we will, John, but maybe by tomorrow. I don't want to overpromise, but I think possibly tomorrow morning we'll be back in or we'll probably remix the studio, have something a little bit different, but we'll see. Bon dia, alegria, Carl. The sunny Lancashire. Bloomin' heck, you're up against it today. Too true, Jordinger. As long as the chair wasn't wet before you sat on it, things aren't too bad. Yeah, I think it's safe to say, Mark, the chair was wet before I sat on it. But I will, I will keep an eye on that. Good morning, Carl. Congrats on the move. Nice backdrop. I'm glad you're liking it. Wasn't it funny to see Jimmy Choo running across it just now? Maybe there'll be a streaker next, or somebody doing some special kind of yoga that we sometimes talk about here, or Garvo hugging a tree in the background. That'd be great. The many characters of the Good Morning Portugal show in the background there. Maybe Prosecco Peggy popping a cork and I'm quaffing a little bit of Prosecco on her birthday in the background. Morning, everyone, from Fiona, who may well join us tonight on the Happy Homesteaders show, 6:15. Lee, Head Garden McGrady, who shouted out earlier on, up against Fiona Worrell on dig versus no dig. Interestingly, to stop me getting in the condition I'm in this morning with an aching body. No dig is the method that Fiona prefers, and they will be comparing results. So lovely greetings coming in for Prosecco Peggy. Parabéns, Peggy, from Fiona. Rachel, hey, look, best buddies. Rachel, happy birthday, Peggy. Moving is both physically and emotionally exhausting, says Mark Rigby. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's kind of all upside. Is what I focus on, being a pretty optimistic. They call me happy guy. Is it called Portugal Living magazine? I'm on the cover. They've called me happy man Carl Munson, and I think of myself as quite an optimistic person, and considering the upside. And that's the thing with moving. It was all upside, and yeah, it's going to be great. And I just totally underestimated all the hard graft that goes into it. But Mark's saying here, moving is both physically and emotionally exhausting. Be sure to program in some rest and relaxation during the setting up phase of having moved. That's such good advice for not just for me, but for anyone doing that. I mean, I was thinking yesterday, my heart went out and thoughts to people who are emigrating. I mean, we did that, but we drove our stuff ourselves, put the kids in the camper van, drove across Europe. But it did give me a particular concern for our North American friends, or people coming from the rest of the world who have to go into some serious logistics, packing things into cargo containers and and hoping for the best. So yeah, I take my hat off to you. That's a real move, I think, coming across the Atlantic. Happy birthday, Peggy from Gemini. Happy birthday, Peggy from Penny. Happy birthday to all my fellow Taurians. What's going on? Why so many Taurians in this community? Not a complaint. Do love an earth sign. Can't manage a whole one. Parabéns, Peggy from Maria Rosa this morning. Morning from Dominico. Hi, kids, says Shelley. You can hear them, could you? Yeah, you can hear how excited they are about it. Hi, Carl. All the best to a new adventure that has just begun. Cheers, Gary. Thank you so much. Mark Rigby. Are you still celebrating, Gary? If anyone is still humming, close and open again. Oh, nice one. A bit of tech support from Mark there. Bon dia a todos. So pleased that the move went well, Carl. Thank you, Paul and Louise. Appreciate that. Hola from Porto, from Bob Tapper, who occasionally pops in. How you doing, Bob? Carl, how's the rain there? Wet? Yes. The rain here, interestingly, well, Terry turned up at 8 o'clock yesterday morning. As he said, sent me a text, see you between 8 and 8:30. He was there at 8 with van, with trailer, and the skies opened up upon us. And we were soaked, moving stuff. And then, of course, when we were driving on the motorway, it's beautiful sunshine. And then when we got here, it started raining again. It was very bizarre. But yes, just to confirm for anybody who needs to know, the rain in the Silver Coast area is wet, like it is in most parts of Portugal. But just so you know, my own message there, if you need him, Terry Cartledge, he's the man, proper Yorkshireman. Actually, no, Joel, I'm not reading that out. You terrible man. Don't know how good. Will work at night with the bugs and all. Oh, I see. This is a northern Portuguese person speaking about the. Oh, talking of bugs, I have to tell you. I don't know. Are you into power animals? And signs? I am. I must admit, I'm a bit susceptible to these sorts of things. And when we went to bed last night, camping style as you do on the first night, everyone in one room, mattresses everywhere. And there was a bug, and I thought I'd wind up little Minnie and say, "Oh look, we've got a visitor." And I imagine she would look at the bug and scream, as she does, especially when she sees a hairy Mary. So those of you in Portugal will know the hairy Mary. It is a truly terrifying beast for actually grown men. I've seen grown. I won't embarrass them this morning, but I know a grown man who was terrified when he encountered his first hairy Mary here in Portugal. But last night, just a simple earwiggy type bug on the floor. And didn't think too much of it, and then turns out it was a glowworm. And we had been listening to Fireflies, the Owl City track, on the way over, and there to greet us on the floor, on the beautiful floor tile, a glowworm firefly. Are they the same thing? No, glowworm is a firefly with its tail shining like a miracle of nature, with its little tail sparking on and off, the light coming on. And my boy Digby just said it's a sign, it's a welcome. And there we were, greeted by a firefly, first creature we saw. And then across the back here, later on in the evening, a huge toad or a frog, nearly as big as my hand, just leaping about here. And I think he was getting a bit noisy, looking for a mate last night, I think. Should I read this out or not, I wonder? Quando travo sinto vibração vindo dos travões. Please, if you would, translate that for me, somebody. He's laughing at his own jokes here, is Joel. Is that Garvo hugging a tree behind? It's got to happen at some point, hasn't it, Frank? Like I said before, I want to see all the various characters of the Good Morning Portugal show in the background. Jimmy Choo's graced it, and it would be great to see Garvo just emerging from the trees, wouldn't it? And maybe you doing some of that special yoga. No dig for me too, says Penny Albertella. It's got to be the way forward, isn't it? I mean, there are obviously people in life that are the no pain, no gain sort of people. You got to work for it, the Protestant work ethic. The likes of Head Gardener McGrady, who really likes to feel like he's done a hard day's work. But it makes some sense, doesn't it? Nature doesn't dig itself, does it? Nature just layers upon layer, doesn't it? I'm going to probably be challenged on that. There is probably nature does, in its own way, turn its soil over somehow. I don't know, but if it comes to forest gardening, permaculture, and those sorts of approaches, I've got those down as no digging. That's the way of gardening for me. Alviagra in the house from Frank, Man Caver Frank. Have a wonderful birthday from other man caver Gary. Bon dia from Grassa. Thank you so much, Grassa. Lovely to live with you on your Quinta. Thank you so much for being here this morning. And thank you for a beautiful send-off yesterday. Thank you so much for that. It was lovely. And we'll see you soon, I hope, here or there. Parabéns, Bagay from Paul and Louise. Jim White, good morning from Baltimore. It's all about the greetings this morning. I'm good with that. I might have a little bit of a look at the weather in just a moment. Not the weather. There's the weather behind me and outside your window as well. But the news, let's see what's going on in terms of deconfinement. Is that right? Coming. Okay, let's see what's happening. I mean, there's a massive. I don't think we've mentioned before, have we? That certainly with the UK and Portugal, there is the green corridor. So there'll probably be a little bit of breaking news to share on that with movements, and keeping our fingers crossed, of course, for the opening of travel between North America, transatlantic travel. So well, let's see. Let's have a dig around in the news in a little while. But let's keep wishing Peggy a happy birthday. Another level up. Cheers from Joel. Long distance moves are easier than local ones because it forces you to get help. Yes, Mark, that's true, isn't it? Yeah, rather than try and stuff everything in the car. Also, you don't have to move out and in on the same day. Yes, that's true. I hadn't thought of that. Definitely, Jordinja, loving the natural backdrop versus green screens. More authentic, isn't it? As well as the kids and doggo in the show. Also, parabéns in your home. Cheers, Jordinja. Yeah, I've always the green screen. You can cover up a multitude of sins, but it's more authentic and realistic, isn't it? To see this, changing throughout the year would be lovely. But I am feeling a bit of a draft on my kidneys. I've got my backside hanging out the French windows, not literally. Hola, and best wishes for happy times in your new home. Cheers, Doreen. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Garvo, so many Taurians because we love beautiful things that are real and honest. Is that a Taurian trait? I'll have to ask Mrs. M about that. Andy. Oh, sorry, Andy. I'm going to come back and have a drink with you, calling me a blooming deserter, leaving the Barrada. Andy, I've got to say, mate, I was going to write, moving house yesterday, and I'm thinking to myself, I must write a blog today. What am I thinking? But it was going to be called Portugal, Pilgrims and Pork. This is where Andy lives, who's coming through via Austin's Facebook ID here, calling me a deserter, leaving the Barrada region. But as I got onto the IC2 yesterday, it's a great road. I'm going down the Golden Mile of Leitão restaurants, the suckling pig restaurants, and all the pilgrims are back on the road. It was a wonderful sight. People walking from up north, Porto presumably, down to Fatima, and it was so heartwarming to see that because I did a pilot drive, car filled with stuff, making the same journey as Terry. On the road after quite a stressful bit of packing. Tetris, I mean, Terry, he knows how to pack a van and a trailer. It was incredible. I didn't think all the stuff was going to go in. So massive relief when it all went in. There was a little bit of room to spare, actually. Could have chucked the kids in the back of the trailer. But there we go. We pull onto the IC2 and there are people in their high vises and there are more people in high vises. And people are back on the Camino. It was a beautiful sight to see that people are there in their spiritual journey. A lot of people use it, don't they, as a self-discovery as well, to spend time with a focus in mind, obviously with the pilgrimage, going down the arduous IC2. And I always feel for the vegan and vegetarian Camino travelers who have to suddenly find themselves in that bit between Anadia and Meliada, where it's like one suckling pig restaurant after another. And it must be quite awkward for the vegetarians and vegans who make that part of the journey. But also, as well as many, many inspiring pilgrims on the road, people were packing out the Leitão restaurants as well. I think people drive from all over Portugal to get to the Leitão Golden Mile, as I call it, and have a Sunday lunch there. That they were doing. So that was going to be my blog yesterday. But funnily enough, I didn't get around to writing it. But certainly, yeah, Pilgrims and Pork yesterday. And I am sorry to be leaving the Barada region. I never imagined I would be there in the first place. You know, twists of fate, quirks of fate, and so on. And wonderful to make your acquaintance, Andy, if only virtually. Only joking, mate. He says, hope you and the family have a fantastic time down there. Down there. Cheers, Andy, and I will come back and have a beer with you as we said we would do. Carl, that was a translation of what you said regarding the car brakes. You fool! Thank you very much, Joel. Plain speaking northerner, Joel. There. I need to research this Hairy Mary that one speaks of. Oh, you do. If I can describe it to you, it has a centipede style of movement in the way it. You know, they can be. Let me show you. Where's a bit of light? They can be. You know, they can be as long as your finger, sometimes longer, and they like a little bit of a damp crevice. Don't we all sometimes? But you know, there they are, lurking in your damp crevices, and they are like a really hairy centipede, I suppose you would call it. And because they like a moist crevice, when you move your cupboards or whatever, they can drop on you or drop on your hand. And they are quite alarming. So I don't know what what are you called? Is it an entomologist? An insect specialist? You can have shivers just looking at pictures, and then when you meet one in in real life, you will suddenly know exactly what we're talking about. The Hairy Mary. You fool! Quote from Lord of the Rings. He's bringing in lots of different influences this morning, as Joel. I knew a Hairy Mary in the late 70s. She was from Portugal and living in Jersey. Someone had to say it. Thank you, Mark. Carl, wishing you all the love and happiness in the world as you settle in your new home. Congratulations. May the years to come bring you plenty of love and abundance. Thank you, Gemini. Wishing nothing but the best for you in your new home. That's beautiful. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Gemini, thank you so much. Gemini, possibly, among all these Taurians. Translation, when braking, I can feel a vibration. Of course. Write that down, folks. Should you ever need to say that to a Portuguese mechanic, you can also use Joel and his services. I think we're priming him for that, because a lot of people do want to buy a Portuguese vehicle, and I don't know, he's a bit what's the word, shy maybe, and I would say Joel would be an amazing he'd be like your motoring personal shopper. If he's, I don't know if volunteering for something he doesn't want to do, but I think he might, with a little bit of encouragement, a couple of super box might help you buying it over here, give you a bit of advice. He knows his vehicles, he really does. Penny Albert compost. That's the dig. Let the worms do it. Let the worms take the strain. It also ensures my husband doesn't dig up all my dahlias and peony tubers. Okay, see, it is the fellas, isn't it, who like to get in there and really, try to strim everything, or shred everything. But yes, calma, tranquilo, and let the worms do the work. Very good. Thank you, Penny, for that. What the heck is a Hairy Mary? I tried to Google it, but I don't think the pics that came up were what you were referring to, John. John, I dread to think what your Google ads are going to serve up to you from here on in. And I'm sorry for anyone else for whom I have caused that an explanation to their spouse. Happy birthday, Peggy, from Ian. I think we established that 26 is a perfect age. Well done. Yes, it's optimal, isn't it? Give or take a couple of years. Hope you are happy in your new home. Thank you, to all of us here from Debbie. But make sure you and Louisa take time out to rest. There's no chance of that, Debbie Doos. But I'll take the sentiment, if not put it into action. 3 kids. Yes, we do. You're right. It's no point making a virtue out of exhaustion, is there, as we tend to do in our society. So yes, we will do that. We'll make sure each other has a chance to unwind and relax a little bit. And yeah, stick the kids in front of the old one-eyed childminder. Late turning in. Hope you're all settling okay. And likewise, igualmente to you as well, Louise. Solo 50 plus. Expat Portugal. I hope you're settling in very well too, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Douglas Hughes had one of those centipede things in my car boot. Yeah, okay, so you know the hairy centipede of doom that I'm talking about, Douglas. Gave you thanks earlier on. I don't know if you heard, for your wonderful presentation, all those beautiful cars that that you've got, that you've had, and still have some of them. That Bentley of yours, beautiful. Gary Austin, do not go, and more advice coming in about Hairy Marys. Yes, don't, seriously, I think that's right. Don't Google it. We will find out the proper name of the Hairy Mary, I hope. If not today, then tomorrow. Happy birthday, Peggy, from Donna Jacqueline there. And I'm not a car expert, but general knowledge is required when I can only afford to buy hoop tees for transport. What's a hoop tee? Knowing it's a banger, is it? Knowing what is more reliable is a trait to acquire. So true. So he's learning from experience. Has someone taken on the old hotel guest house that you've just left? No, Peter, but that was not the last house, but the house before that. I think this is our I don't know how many moves we've done in Portugal. It's probably getting on for half a dozen, maybe more. Mrs. M will shout through in a minute. It's 13, she'll say, or something like that. But that was the one before last, was the old hotel guest house. Details of which are on expatsportugal.com on the property pages. And you own that one for a 15-bed alojamento local. It was a B&B from back in the day in the beautiful town of Korea. It would make such a lovely home in that beautiful town for the person who wants to do a bit of work, maybe reinstate some of it. But I will miss Korea. Korea is such a special place. Do visit if you can. If you're driving up and down the IC2 on your way to Aveiro, check out Korea. My grandfather's assessment of yet another birthday was that it is better than the alternative. Yes, more pithy wisdom, please. That's fantastic. Many happy returns, Peggy. From Georginja to Peggy Prosecco Peggy this morning. Well, that's a regular visit. 2 centipedes, usually taking care with a slipper or a shoe. There he goes, the conservationist. He's no David Attenborough, is he? Joel up there in Matosinhos. I think the glass and piece of paper technique, that's what we did for the glowworm last night. Not the firefly last night. Late tuning in. The background looks interesting. Vinny and Denise, we've moved. This is the background of our new home, not far from Caldas, Rainha. And Dougie, buy something with a bit of a warranty and get it looked over by an expert eye. That's best for buying used cars. There you go. Advice coming in from many angles. Dare I look up Hairy Mary myself? Dare I take a bullet for you so I can tell you? I think probably what I'll do is I will post something up on our social media and make a little meme probably along the lines of never search for Hairy Mary. Right. Okay. What have we got going on? A very grim situation down in Albufeira at the moment with the further calls for resignation of Portugal's interior minister as the Archbishop steps into Odimira's human slavery controversy happening in Portugal. Migrant workers. Somebody was telling me yesterday, new Portuguese best mate, Manel, was talking to me about fruit growing in Portugal, and it's pretty miserable, actually, pretty shameful. The slave labor that's used so that you can. I mean, I saw this yesterday. Box of cherries, a big box of cherries, cerejas, €5, and the back-breaking work that's gone on behind the scenes with so much fruit that is harvested, picked in Portugal. Not something to be especially proud of. I mean, it's not a unique Portuguese situation, obviously happens all over the world, doesn't it? But another reason to pick probably organic, biologique, and go to a place that's not industrialized growth. Go grow your own, trade with your neighbor. Oh, Jimmy Tuesday, I thought it was a great big bird that come into the garden. Grow. What's the benefit of the intensive farming? It's about immediate cost, isn't it? The fruit doesn't cost very much, probably covered in chemicals, but you get a bargain. But we're going to pay one way or another, aren't we? We pay in terms of how we treat other people. We pay in terms of how we're desertifying the landscape. So why don't we just pay the right price at the time of buying the blooming fruit? Is my whinge rant this morning. But I'm having a look to see what might be worth sharing with you from the Portugal resident before I take an early bath this morning. Not literally, or maybe actually that could be good for the aching back. But early bath, I think it's a knockout, or leaving the rugby field for an early bath, so an early finish on the show this morning. But let me see the headlines to share with you. New data shows natural COVID infection leaves people better protected than if they take the vaccine. That's interesting. What's that about then? This is Hugo Delgado from the Loser agency here, and actually I'll pop this up on the screen so that you can see it. Everything seems to be holding up nicely broadband wise, doesn't it? Apart from that slight problem I had with you not being able to hear me at the beginning. But let me just bring this up onto the screen for my own interest, and hopefully yours as well. But this is an interesting article from the Portugal resident this morning. New data shows natural COVID infection leaves people. This is the organic approach, biologique, no dig. Yes, that works, doesn't it? It's the no dig approach to catching COVID. Natural COVID infection leaves people better protected than if they take the vaccine. New scientific data. It's a Natasha Don story, not the picture credit is Hugo Delgado and Loser. New scientific data shows that if a person is infected with SARS-CoV-2 and goes on to develop COVID-19 and recovers, they will be better protected against incoming variants than a person who has been vaccinated. That's a bit of a shocker, isn't it? Immunologist Luis Grassa of the DGS. That wasn't me. It was an articulated lorry of the DGS Health Authority Technical Vaccination Commission explains natural infection exposes us to all the proteins of the virus, not just one like the vaccine, leading to a wider response of the immune system. Even someone who has a low level of antibodies, will be protected by T lymphocytes as cellular protection. And given this response directed at more viral proteins, new variants will have more difficulty entering the organism. Having the disease, even without any symptoms, has another. It certainly does. I mean, having a disease without symptoms is definitely advantageous, is it not? Writes Espresso. The entrance of the virus through the respiratory system, not through muscles, as happens with inoculation, leads to the production of both IgG and IgA antibodies going into mucus. Sorry to mention mucus on a Monday morning whilst you might be having your breakfast, and can have a greater impact against infection. So this is the natural way then, isn't it? This is why some laboratories, including those in Portugal, are trying to produce an inhalable vaccine. Well, that's interesting as well. Yes, it's all been about the jabs, isn't it? And of course, the polio vaccine was, I think, given to kids on diabetes creating sugar cubes, wasn't it? Back in the day. And now inhalable vaccines. Good heavens. Jimmy Choo, pack it in. Trying to do a show here. Does everyone want to say hello to Jimmy Choo? Here, Jim. Here. Come on. Come on, say good morning. Up you come. Look. Can everybody see Jimmy Choo? I think he's happy in his new home. I can't see the output screen at the moment. Let's see. Let me see if you're in shot, buddy. Oh, just stick your hooter in a bit further. There you go. Jimmy Choo, everybody. There he is. Oh, Jimmy. There we go. Sorry, back to the important story there. About this, about natural. Would it be called natural inoculation? I don't know. But hold on, let me just bring that back onto the screen for you. There we go. Add to stream. You can tell I'm not firing on all cylinders this morning. Anyway, it's a lottery, as of course infection can cause serious consequences. And due to this, Portuguese experts cited in the press all recommend that people decide to take up the offer to be vaccinated, is what they're saying anyway. Expresso's article has some grey areas nonetheless. For example, it stresses that no one knows how long natural immunity lasts, which is why health authorities are recommending that anyone who has had COVID-19 and recovered should have at least one shot of vaccine 6 months after recovery. Yes, no loss of profits there, but interesting. I think you will agree. Natural COVID infection, and that's why, of course, my mother would send me to the houses of any children with chicken pox or measles back in the day. Parties. I mean, there haven't been COVID parties, have they, to people so that people get infected naturally? Or I suppose that they were that was Cheltenham races, wasn't it? and Portimao possibly. Okay, interesting. Back to a few more of your comments here. Make a promise to go out in that garden behind you, to connect as a family and make your introduction to what is around you. The gratitude you show will pay off. Good shout, Gary Austin. I'm looking forward to Gary Austin's own TV series with such insight about nature. I mean, you've seen his videos, haven't you? Of Gary making friends with the trees. It's really beautiful, and I think it would warrant its own series there, or certainly some more YouTube vids, Gary. But thank you for that, and we will. Don Carlos Park is quite impressive for a day out with the family. Prado Foz do Aurelio looks beautiful. Thanks, Elisa. Yes, you're right. Is Don Carlos Park the one in central Caldas? Because it is really lovely. Lovely little restaurant there. Caterpillars are Hairy Mary. Kids call them Hairy Marys. Okay. So yeah, it's a sort of centipede caterpillar vibe with that. Oh, here we go. Jordinja, thank you so much. I took the Google bullet, says Jordinja. Hairy Mary is the Scutiguera, almost Cleopatra. Coleoptrata. Scutiguera. You're not going to shout that out, are you? If you move your sofa and one of those drops on your hand. Ah! It's a Scutiguera. Coleoptrata. It's a Hairy Mary. So it is. Douglas Hughes. Did I hear someone mentioning someone had wobbly brakes earlier? It's Chinese whispers in the comments. Early diagnosis, bad brake discs, warped or pad marks. They need replaced. There you go. Excellent value this morning. Thanks, everybody. Jordinja, there are some things I can never unsee. Thank you so much. Give me a clue how to find Terry's contact details. Colin, look him up. I'm going to have to do this, aren't I? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll have a quick route around now. Talk among yourselves, because I should be able to find him on Facebook. And he likes to work. He likes to have initial contact via email, I think. So let me just see if I can find at least one of his businesses online. Because as I said before, he's not only a mover and a van man, Terry Cartledge. He's also a mechanic and an engineer. I mean, he's a very impressive fellow, is our Terry, and he can turn his hand. He's the sort of bloke, you'd want to end up on a desert island with, out of choice. With people who are capable of doing remarkable things with their bare hands. He's one of them. Okay, so TC's removals and storage. I'm going to put this on the that's the obvious thing to do, isn't it? Because that's what people are asking about. TC's, Top Cats, Terry Cartledge's removals and storage. So just pop in that in the comments now. Sorry to be banging the computer, but this is Facebook. Sorry if you're not a Facebook user, but that's a place to start. TC's removals and storage. There you go. That's for you, Colin, in the comments right now. Bon dia from Ludwig Dingledine. Good morning to you, Ludwig. Carl, your connection breaks up sometimes. Okay, we're working on it. Mayo are going to be putting in. I mean, those of you who've watched for a little while now will remember the debacle I had with Vodafone. And this just to remind everybody, when you sign probably a 2-year contract with a mobile company, they will want you to honor that contract, whether you need the phone or not, whether you move. And this has happened to people who've come to Portugal and gone back to the UK, for example. You've got to pay the rest of that contract, even if you don't use it. And they will be pretty firm with you about that. And so we're moving our Mayo here. I am working on the house connection that's here at the moment, but so that should improve anyway. Look, to cut a long story short, Elisa. The old Mayo will be reinstalled in the coming days, and that should help with that. Denise in New Zealand, there is a study out of Israel that shows the vaxxed are 8 times more likely to get another variant than the no vaxxed for COVID. Interesting. We'll try and find the article. Unfortunately, you need to survive the first infection to have an immune response the second time around. Absolutely, Stephen. As with all infectious diseases, right? That should be non-vaxxed. Denise correcting her comment there. I'd rather not take the punt by catching full-blown COVID in order to be immune, but I go for symptom-free disease. Yes, bring it on. We'd all like it that way, wouldn't we? Give me asymptomatic, please. And all the protection that goes with it. Jersey, bon dia, Carl. Good luck in your new place. Cheers, Jersey. Hi, Jimmy. My 3 bitches say hi. He's a good-looking fella, isn't he? Penny. He's he is a bit of a chap as well, actually. Bom dia e parabéns a todos. Okay, I need to ask a question of dog owners. I've usually had bitches in the past, lady dogs, because I imagine them to be. It's a family thing, isn't it? It's what your parents did probably. You kind of learn what kind of dog owner you are from the family you grew up in. So bitches, less trouble, unless of course they're on heat, and then you've got every dog in the neighbourhood scratching at your front door. But generally speaking, I don't think they go rove as far as a dog would, like Jimmy here. So I'm going to put it to you now, those of you who have had male dogs. Do you think I should? Let me just put that in. Do I or do I not? Somebody did say to me, it's very rare to see an intact male dog these days, I think. So should I do that to Jimmy or not? As a man, I'm thinking, I can't do that to Jimmy Chew. So I would welcome your advice on that. But just between you and me, bom dia, parabéns a todos. Lol, I don't know what he's lolling at there. There could have been a number of things. Ask everyone to smash the like button if you go. Okay, folks, you know what to do. Smash that like button. You're making me sound like an Insta influencer. Okay, guys, smash the like button now. Let's go viral this morning, but asymptomatic, obviously. Bon dia, Carl, from Jacqueline. Claire Bendel, we know her as Claire. Bon dia to you, Claire. How are you this morning? Thank you for that. And Vodafone, like the V word again, lol, and I'm the grumpy one. I don't think I went into one that time. I know it was very stressful at the time, but I just stating a fact there. Thank you from Colin for Terry's details there. Random, but Douglas Hughes. Is that an A40 in your profile pic? I think guilty is charged. There you go. Mark is saying lady dogs make better pets once they are desexed. Yes, yeah, I guess so. You don't get all the boys coming to the yard, as it were. My dog's never got the scissors, says Joel. Unless you want to pay furry alimony, I'd get him snipped. So one vote for that, one vote not. Poor thing. You can't cut. I'm not going to read that out just in case Grandma is listening in the other room. That's cruel. Get him a girlfriend instead. Everyone needs love, even animals. All right, that's my kind of solution. Thank you, Lisa. Snip, snip. You don't need any more unwanted pets. Can't he be? It maybe are there doggy vasectomies? I don't know. Rather than complete castration. Apparently, the snip protects old dogs from cancer later in life. Of Tall Paul in Exeter. Is that you or a different one? No, I've known a Tall Paul in Plymouth. You're not the same fellas, are you? I don't think. But Tall Paul Exeter, thank you very much for that. What we need is something that suppresses the symptoms. We're not talking about dogs, the dogs. What's it? Are we anymore? We're talking. It's a far-reaching conversation this morning. What we need is something that suppresses the symptoms of the virus, like we do with normal viruses, while our bodies find the answer. Oh, now I don't know if I can say this on you. The weird thing about this is I don't know if I can even utter this word on YouTube and Facebook. So controversial it is that our friend Will Thompson calls it the drug that can't be named, because people are being banned apparently for just saying the word. So I'm going to err on the side of caution, but you can see what it says in the comments there. Ludwig Dingledine, I've had a lot of dogs, never snipped a male dog, and yes, females are the better. I think that it's slightly in favour of snipping at the moment. Snip the dog, Carl. He will settle much better and be more comfortable. Yeah, and he'll stop frightening the children every time he walks past at their height as well, I suppose. There is that too, Mark. Thank you very much. I'm going to finish at 10. So any more birthday? There can't be any more Taurians here, can there? But any more birthday greetings or special occasions, wedding anniversaries? You specialise in wedding anniversaries. I haven't done a bar mitzvah yet on the Good Morning Portugal show. So any other announcements? Please get them in the next few minutes. What else have we got in terms of latest news here? Scientists and fishermen step up to save Algarve's underwater reef, home to almost 900 species. Now, there's a story to look at. Prefer to use the word article, but that sounds good to me. And I'm going to bring that on the screen for you now. There's another one called Soaring Souls. I wonder what that's about. I might find out after having a quick look at this, because this looks like it might be good news. I suspect, however, it'll probably be the good news that undermines the already bad news. Scientists and fishermen step up to save Algarve's underwater reef, home to almost 900 species, an absolute haven of eco-diversity. Actually, on Wednesday of this week, Doug will be back with a colleague, not a colleague, but an acquaintance who is both the pair of them, reformed climate skeptics. I think it's fair to call you that, Doug. I mean, right that wrong if I didn't put you quite right there in the comments, but I think. And I'll share the article maybe tomorrow, or certainly by the time Doug gets it. He just thought the climate crisis was just the work of hippies, basically. And I'm sure he used even more derogatory words than that, just trying to frighten everybody. He's turned completely. And we'll be talking about that on Wednesday. A unique initiative involving scientists, Algarve fishermen, local authorities, and Portugal's Fundação Oceano Azul, the Ocean Blue Foundation, has come up with a proposal to protect the largest shallow water reef in continental Portugal. Why we need a proposal and why we're not just cracking on with it, I do not know. We might find out in just a moment. Home to almost 900 species, 12 of them previously undocumented. The reef runs close to the. Did you know that? Did you know we had a reef here in Portugal, in the Algarve? The reef runs close to the Algarve coastline from the Farol de Alfonsina to Lagoa in the Marina of Albufeira. Says Expresso, there are 94.5 square kilometers that function as a place for reproduction and growth, as well as refuge of 889 species, among them fish, 111 species, algae 75, and invertebrates. Your aquatic hairy Mary, 703. Of these species, 19 are covered by a statute, I think a statute of conservation, rather than a statue of conversation, including seahorses and grouper fish. 45 exist only in this particular reef, and 19 are not known anywhere else in the world. Woohoo! Go Portugal. It's an underwater paradise, in other words, and has been left unprotected and hugely vulnerable to outside elements, including tourist boats. The Armação de Pera Association of Fishermen was the entity that first started this ball rolling. Well done, you fishermen. It approached Ocean Blue in 2018, concerned over the reduction of fish that was affecting local and non-industrial fishing. The association told the foundation about the reef. This is good news. Let's go to the final paragraph. It's a long article, but let's just see the resolution here and see what's happening. So the next step is for legislation to be created. This is expected to take up to 3 years. What environmental crisis? What all those behind it are adamant is that once the AMPIC is in place, authorities ensure all the rules are adhered to. I expect an AMPIC is some sort of controlling mechanism, isn't it? Policing mechanism for conservation. This is fundamental, said Peter Cunha. Otherwise, there will always be people who want to scrape the bottom of the barrel, literally there in the sea. Yeah, in this case, the barrel is simply much too precious to be left at risk. Well done, everybody involved in that, and thank you, Natasha Don, for another fine article there. Good times. So I want to just go back and see what this soaring souls thing is about. What do we think that might be about? Good diagram of the sea floor there as well in that article. Soaring souls. Set your body. Oh, I say. Set your body and soul soaring with Kabinga Yoga. So I've just stepped into a yoga advert here, basically, and yoga advertorial. But let's find out a bit more about it. A handful of giggling women. Starting to sound more interesting. A handful of giggling women dangle in various states of asana. From I'm trying to think of an asana joke here. I guess that'll tighten up. Yeah, asana. From brightly coloured silks. Didn't do that sentence justice. A sight like this is not uncommon. In fact, inverted bodies are a typical feature at Kabinga Yoga Retreat. We know yoga can be quite serious, but we try to bring in the fun, says Debbie Norford Jones, co-founder of the Kabinga Retreat. Go to our business directory because we've got a nice little offer on yoga as well in there. The lovely lady whose name escapes me now, who I interviewed, who does wonderful yoga for kids. She was doing great yoga retreats, not yoga retreats, yoga sessions online for kids and grown-ups, and you can find out more if you go to our perks section in expatsportugal.com. But back to Debbie for a moment, because we know people are taking time out, they're on holiday, but nutritionally and holistically, they're doing themselves good at Kabinga here. Often yoga rouses images of sinewy bodies contorted into pretzel shapes. That's me when I do my yoga. Where are the yoga mats, I wonder? They probably won't, hopefully they won't turn up for another 3 months. Not so at Kabinga. No pretzel shapes there, which can dissuade people from stepping onto the yoga mat. We have all shapes and sizes coming here. We try and cater for everybody. I'm the first to admit I can't do something because I've got a plate and pins in my ankle. At the age of 49, sales manager in the tech industry, Debbie broke her leg in 5 places. Doctors said I was going to limp and I wouldn't be able to do this and that. I said, well, I'm not going to limp. And the final operation was in December. The following September, Debbie and Kabinga co-founder Jules, a holistic practitioner, were booked onto an 8-week intensive course at Sampurna Yoga School, Goa. The whole time we were there, we thought, how can we use this for other people? We plotted and dreamed. We wanted to have a high-end boutique retreat where people can experience luxury and nature. Sounding like fun here, isn't it? The plotting and dreaming materialized as Kabinga, which is Swahili for tranquil. We're learning so much this morning. Set within the green hills outside of Lagos, the noisiest thing you'll hear is the cockerel crowing nearby, and I've got one of those here. So there you go, Kabinga Yoga, everybody, bringing us up to 10 o'clock. My voice is about to go. Excuse me a minute. Sorry, didn't mute. I do beg your pardon for sharing that with you. Just go to your last few comments now. Thanks, everybody, for all your lovely wishes, and we'll be back again in the morning, maybe with a bit more of a studio, but you all seem to be liking this backdrop anyway, which is great. Snip the dog. Caldas says, Doug, so you're near Obidos in Nazaré, one of my favorite bits of Portugal. Can't wait till you come over, Doug, in one of your motors, and we'll get out there, maybe go look at the flamingos, or go to Simon's Rex Bar in Obidos. He gave me a buzz over the weekend. Looking forward to meeting up with him. No, it's not an A40, it's a 13. Of course it is, because Doug showed us that. I should have known that. Sorry. Yeah, a 1300 GT in Austin there, Andy. By the way, you've moved close to Portugal's crypto enclave, Nazaré, apparently. Thank you, George, didn't you? I just must have intuited that. Gary Austin, is the French siege of the Channel Islands over yet? I don't know. I suspect it isn't. That bit of saber rattling is over. We've moved on, haven't we? We've moved on to further. It's certainly in the UK. Further political upset over there, and concerns about the future of the Labour Party. Oh, okay, Doug. Cheers. I had an A40 that looked very similar. Had a Richard Longman lump. Hope that's nothing serious. And bang on, reformed. Oh yeah, he's reformed. Yes, bang on about Doug. So he'll be joining us on Wednesday to talk about being a reformed climate change skeptic. That will be interesting. Pippa Young, castration of dogs will stop scent marking so frequently. I see what you're getting at there. They'll stray less, stay home, and will still defend their territory. Prevents prostate and testicular cancer. Generally, all-round benefits for dogs. That is, not for humans. Ivermectin. Oh, I said it. Knickers, knockers. So there. So there, Facebook, do your worst. If I could get some, I wouldn't have to think twice about taking it, says Gary, a convert to the ivermectin there. Penny, I'll see what happens. If we're not here tomorrow, you know why. Yoga is a fantastic exercise to help with flexibility and balance your senior years. We're going to be doing this, Penny. A class is coming. So, and I've got the backdrop for it, haven't I? We're going to be doing Growing Old Disgracefully with Ian and others. In staying in shape and staying in balance and remaining flexible with our particular demographic here. I hope you don't remind me referring to you as a particular demographic, but you know what I'm getting at. And we'll all do it together. A yoga retreat in Portugal sounds amazing. It does sound good, that, doesn't it, Penny? What does this mean? My Asana Bin Laden. I don't understand that, but there's a blast from the past. Mike Campion. Yes, the French have surrendered to Jersey. Stop it now. I've got ivermectin in my fridge. Ooh, next to the Prosecco. You see, can you imagine that episode of Through the Keyhole? I wonder who lives here. Prosecco in the fridge next to the ivermectin. Suddenly Dave Allen is taken over from whoever that was, doing through the keyhole. Nice wisteria in the background. Thank you very much, Ludwig. And sorry, Carl. Yes, it's Gary's fault if we are now banned for using the eye drug on it. Not using the eye drug. That doesn't sound right, does it? But you know what I mean. Fanadia Association did yoga along with lots of other activities before COVID. Jacqueline Candish de Mont. I think we're neighbours. If I shout out, Jacqueline! I'm not done, Jacqueline. She'll think I'm shouting to her now. But could you hear that, Jacqueline Candish de Mont, across the neighbourhood? Maybe. Anyway, we must meet up. Sorry, I've missed you, Carlos Vitor. Victor, no, not a problem. We'll be back in tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, especially for all your lovely greetings about moving home and being happy here. We will be. There's Jacqueline. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care and bye for now, everybody. Have a great day. Ciao, ciao.